Hello everyone, welcome to the Ginger Snaps, where I'll be discussing movies with you guys in a very blunt way. I'm your host, Steven Harrold, and in today's video, I figured it's about time I actually give you guys my review for this film, because I honestly just can't stop talking about it, I can't stop thinking about it, and the more I think about it, the more you can tell this movie really was something for me. And that movie just happens to be Godzilla Minus One, which was released on December 1st to cinemas all around North America. And let's face it, for a Godzilla film, this one really needs to be talked about. This video was also recommended to me by one of my good friends, Brett, who is a massive Godzilla fan. And he has watched all the Godzilla films that exist. And he was so excited to hear that I had watched this movie with my brother. And we had talked about it, I don't know how many freaking times. And he always said, you know, you should probably do a video of Godzilla Minus One. And I've been just pushing it back. And then finally it's just like, you know, I ended up finding myself thinking about the fucking movie again. And then watching other people's reviews on them. And I was like, yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to review this fucking movie. So I know it's not quite a horror movie, but hear me out. To me, this is a horror movie. So here is my review for Godzilla Minus One. The story of this film obviously takes place in Tokyo, of course. It is actually quite a bait and switch to what we are used to with Godzilla films as of late, because we are so in tune with the monsterverse that Hollywood is doing right now with the 2014 film Godzilla, Kong Skull Island, Godzilla King of the Monsters, King Kong versus Godzilla. This is an original take. I mean, it's even in the fucking goddamn title, Godzilla Minus One. This is basically a precursor to the first film. As we all know, Tokyo is dealing with the effects of the Second World War. They have lost. We are introduced to a character who is a kamikaze pilot who did not serve his mission and basically is viewed as a coward once he returns. He ends up befriending a woman who has also taken in a baby that wasn't even hers at all. And even though the town is trying to rebuild and trying to get back to after the war, this creature that haunted our lead on an island that he is known now as Godzilla, or Godzilla as is known, the proper pronunciation of it, wreaks havoc on the town again, and now it takes the military scientists to stop Godzilla once and for all. But we all know that's not how it really fucking went. For the story for this movie, I couldn't believe just the hype of this film, because I remember watching Shin Godzilla, and I saw little bits and pieces of it, and I can agree with some people. They did not like the design of Godzilla at all in that film. And the story was kind of, to me, all over the place, and I just kind of, like, it. To me, Shin Godzilla is almost forgettable. This one, on the other hand, with its story, it latches onto you very well, and you end up following these characters, you end up following the story. It's so goddamn good that it's a reason why this movie was heavily praised. Not just in Japan, not just in anywhere else, not even just in North America. Basically, the whole entire world was talking about this film. That's why with the film, with its story, it just knocks it right out of the park. And for once, I can actually verify, especially after watching all the MonsterVerse films, this is the first Godzilla film that I've seen which actually has characters that you actually appreciate. You follow through. You hope they survive at the end. You hope that nothing bad could happen to them. The characters in this fucking movie just steal the show. And this is the prime example. If you have characters that you can follow throughout the whole fucking movie, you don't need a whole entire movie of Godzilla just wreaking havoc in a town or in a city. You don't need that. And when you do get it, it's really much earned. We do get a lot of time with these characters and seeing how they are and seeing who they become later on. It's so refreshing to me to actually see characters in a Godzilla film you fucking root for. And even though, especially for me, like, I'm a person who, you know, doesn't like reading while watching a movie, but also at the same time understanding this is from Toho and they're going to release their film with Japanese language and you're just going to have to read it in English subtitles. The fact that I was able to just block that out of my mind and be able to enjoy the movie for what it is, just the visuals and everything, and the characters themselves, it doesn't really matter what language you were watching this movie in. I mean, personally for me, I'm kind of glad they didn't dub this at all, because at least I get the genuine reactions that were filmed in front of a camera and the audio had picked up. So that is just one of the things I was actually impressed with, aside with the fact that these characters are, quite frankly, the best characters I've ever seen in a Godzilla film. But of course, you know, when your one character happens to have its name in the title, you have to kind of talk about that, and that, of course, is, you know, Godzilla himself. Now, understanding that this is supposed to be a precursor to the very first Godzilla, which is my understanding is the whole -1. You know, this is supposed to be a prequel to the very first Godzilla film. Godzilla, we are introduced really early into the film, and he's so much smaller than what we are used to, until the film picks up, where the nuclear bomb, the radiation from it, causes him to get bigger. And he continuously grows and grows and grows and becomes a massive creature. And to see Godzilla in this film, the way it's even portrayed, I know this movie's budget wasn't that high, and a lot of people can say that the CGI in this film for Godzilla doesn't look that great, but to me, I didn't see that. Like, it almost looked like at certain times with certain scenes, Godzilla was like not even just a person in a suit like it was back in the old days. It was more along the lines of like, this doesn't look like a CG character. I mean, when you think of CG creatures in movies, you know, you think of Jurassic Park, right? Where that CG fucking holds up. This is one of those films where it's definitely Godzilla holds up. And the reason why I say that this movie definitely fits as a horror film, if you watch this film and you've already seen it and you see how Godzilla is, this is a fucking horror movie. And there is one particular scene in this movie that I still think that is just pure fucking horror. It's this scene right here where he's chasing after the boat, and you know Godzilla, he's faster than that fucking tugboat. He's faster than that thing, but he's just toying with them. And to see that, like, if you were a person on that boat and seeing this large fucking creature swimming after you like that, you would be fucking terrifying. To me, that is the most terrifying scene in any fucking Godzilla film. And Godzilla himself in this film, just the design of him looks intimidating. It's better than Shin Godzilla for sure, where my brother had mentioned to me that his eyes were made of CDs. And I was like, what? And so he zoomed in on me, or on the picture of it, and I'm like, oh my god, it is. But I love this design of Godzilla more. It's almost kind of like this one in the cinematic MonsterVerse versions of Godzilla. Those ones are like the two favorites I like. But other than that, like, Godzilla in this movie, even though we don't really get so much time with him, it's well deserved when you do see him. But when you do see him, it's fucking terrifying. And when you see the one scene, there's, you know, spoilers, I will say, because, you know, the movie's been out for over fucking almost 3 months, or basically over 3 months. When he finally uses his atomic breath to blow something up and kind of just admires his work, that's when Godzilla becomes really fucking terrifying. The visuals of this fucking movie, I mean, like, come on now. Like, the visuals are enough for a goddamn Oscar nomination in any kind of category where visual effects is awarded, and this movie should get that. To know that this film's visuals, its CGI, its effects just hold up so damn well and look so good on a budget that seems to have been very low and shouldn't have been possible. just shows that Toho uses the resources that they have to make a visually beautiful fucking film out of something terrifying. Also, don't even get me started on the soundtrack of this fucking movie. I'm a guy who loves movie soundtracks. I mean, the Godzilla theme, as we all know, I understand why people who are Godzilla fans, when they hear that theme, they get a little teary-eyed because it's like an emotional theme for them. That theme sticks with them quite a bit. I know for someone like me, the Halloween theme, or the Terminator 2 theme, those ones stand out to me as amazing themes. I'm not the stereotypical person who, the Star Wars theme brings them tears, or the fucking Indiana Jones theme brings them tears. No, fuck that. For me, when I'm listening to that whole entire soundtrack, and this movie does use it has the best use of the Godzilla theme. It's at the end where they're charging towards Godzilla and they're about to do their plan. And that's quite possibly the best use of that fucking theme I've ever fucking heard. And honestly, the music in this movie just fits so damn well with all its scenes, all its emotions, all of its terrifying visuals, everything. The soundtrack was perfect for this movie. Now, after 3 months, of course, we all know that in North America, Godzilla Minus One got a black and white re-release in theaters, and I wish I was able to actually watch that in black and white, but because of the fact that this movie, the visuals are so damn good, and the story and everything, and the characters, this movie deserved to be black and white. And from what I understand, a lot of people really enjoy it that it's in black and white. And I wish I could share the same for you guys, but I could just imagine how it looks in black and white. But the fact that this movie, on Rotten Tomatoes, they give it a 98%, and the audience, still to this day, is a 98%. They are, Rotten Tomatoes and the audience fucking actually see eye to eye for the first time. That says something about your film, but I honestly feel like when it comes to this film, it's one of these things where I have to say it should be a film that on both sides, Rotten Tomatoes and the audience score, should actually be at 100%. I mean, for the life of me, I cannot think of a single solitary flaw with this film. So guys, in saying that, this possibly is my favorite Godzilla film ever made. And if I'm saying that it's my favorite one ever made, then that means a certain other thing, which goes to my rating. So, for my rating, I'm going to give Godzilla Minus One a perfect 10 out of 10. I know this is kind of like a review that was long overdue, but it kind of bears the question, do you guys actually think this is the best Godzilla film? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, if you like this video, make sure you hit the thumbs up and subscribe for more content. And don't forget to hit the bell notification so you can get notified about all the other videos coming out on this channel. And also, as a nice little piece of information for you guys, this year, of course, the original Godzilla film is having an anniversary, and that is going to be the video where I have my friend Brett with me, where we are going to be discussing and giving you guys a review for Godzilla. The very first one, right? Back in 1954. And I'm excited for that one. So, other than that, guys, that's it from me. This has been the Ginger Snaps here. My name is Steven Harrold, and I will talk to you guys later. And remember to stay spooky. I know this is not what you're used to when it comes to horror movies, but to me, this is a fucking horror movie.